Coming up in today's episode, we'll take a look at the round 3 results and how some clubs kept themselves cool with soaring temperatures in the high 30s. And later in today's show, we'll be joined by Nicole Blackett as she returns back to the Go Sunny Solar WNPL after a year in Victoria. And that's all coming up in today's episode of The Local Game. Welcome to The Local Game for episode 4 for 2024. We've made it a whole month here on YouTube and Channel 44. We thank you for joining us once again for another exciting episode after what has been a very, very warm weekend and some great football as well on the park. We're going to cover it all in today's episode. Looking forward to spending it with you once again. And back in the studio, my co-host for today, Marc Talbot. Good to have you, mate.
Thanks for having me back.
It's well, you did well in episode 1, so we had to bring you back in.
Like to think I did okay.
Oh, he did. You did all right, but no, you did well, mate. It's good to have you back here. There's a lot to talk about. Round 3, was a very hot weekend, but some great football on the park as well.
Yeah, it was a ridiculously hot weekend. All the games got shifted around as we tried to fill commentators and things like that in the spots, but overall, still productive weekend.
Yes, it was very productive. We had the preseason cup finals as well. We're going to touch on some of the women's football as well as we head into round 1 this coming weekend. Nicole Blackett will help us cover all that as she's returning back to West Adelaide this year as well. So, well, that's all to get through. But, talking about the hot weather, let's go straight into that. You got to try and keep cool, and that's why they bring in drinks breaks. But some clubs have gone a different route this weekend with FK Belgrade turning on the sprinklers with 75 minutes into the game with 15 minutes to go. Almost ended the game early, but some quick thinking got the game back underway, but wasn't their fault with the extreme heats. The game got delayed, which meant the automatic sprinklers turned on, but to their surprise.
Yeah, the council, they'd informed the council, but they thought they'd had it covered, and then obviously the game got pushed out a little bit. So it's one of those things when you are relying on councils to help with your pitches, and these things happen, but great way to cool off. Yeah,
it is a great way, and I think they tried to stop the crowd from getting wet, and they put it back into the goal box. But Lewis Moss didn't want his goal box wet, so he turned it back onto the crowd. A little bit of banter to and fro there, but it was a great thing to see. The way it got the little banter between the player and the club.
I wouldn't expect anything less from Lewis Moss, to be honest. So that's just sums him up.
It does. But it was great. Quick thinking got us underway down there. So not too much of a break. And 20 years as well for the Red Army this weekend. They celebrated that at the LA United double header, which got split across 2 days, unfortunately, against Melbourne Victory. Great celebration they had on the weekend. They had some former players head down there. They had Travis Dodd, who's now at Croydon, got West Adelaide's current head coach. Michael Brooks was there, Marcella Karuska, and a few others, Richie Alagich, were all in attendance, which was great to see. Celebrating something these fans have done for our National League club in LA United, but they're all local people as well from Beergrad, West Adelaide, and all other clubs that all go down there and support the LA United.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, to be able to do it for 20 years, I mean, you've got the likes of the RBB and the Shed in Perth, but Adelaide United, they've been doing it since day one. All the people that have come together from all the local clubs. I know that Jason was involved at Metro, might still be. He was involved with the Red Army for a long time. So it's just amazing how all the clubs have. People from all those clubs have all just come together when it comes to Adelaide United.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a few of those names that have been around as people still at Metro, as I mentioned, Beergrad, Adelaide City, a lot, even referees involved as well, which is great to see. It's a little community, and it's good to see them last 20 years and hopefully another 20 to go, or maybe longer. But a great little celebration there on the weekend, so it's good to attend that. And just a quick mention as well, it's some sad news has happened over the week, which is Steve Maxwell, unfortunately known affectionately as Maxi as well into the local community, passed away this week. Sad news for the local leagues, and played over 270 games for Adelaide City and also capped for the Socceroos as well. Just a sad loss.
It's a massive loss to our local game. Anyone that knows Maxi, I was lucky enough to meet him a couple of times, but I know a lot of players and a lot of clubs had a lot to do with Maxi. He was involved with Stir, Adelaide City, Pirates, just to name a couple. And he just looked after the junior football so well, brought them through. So it's a big loss for Adelaide football. He's a local legend.
Absolutely, and we know he had a lot to do with Sturt recently as well. So our thoughts go out to everyone, all his friends and family at this tough time. It's just a sad moment for football, and our thoughts go out to everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll make our way to the NPL now. Round 3 on the weekend happened, Mark. It was a huge weekend of football, and it did not disappoint. We had 5 games on the Friday, 1 on the Thursday night, which looked to be one of the most tasty games between Adelaide City and Adelaide Comets. Only a 1-0 win, for the Comets that night. But what a game it was.
Yeah, look, what a great game. And the thing is, we're getting these games week in, week out now. Every team is going for it. We've got some top teams. And even the teams that we will say the so-called lesser teams that are sort of struggling at the bottom got wins. They've got results. Like Olympic got their result, which you'll jump to. But it's amazing how they're all just starting to beat anyone. It doesn't matter who you are.
And that's the one thing we love about the local league as well, is because it's unpredictable. We get South Adelaide getting their win against FK Belgrade, which almost got it 15 minutes earlier due to the little interruption with the sprinklers. But that's a great win for them, with JJ coming back into the squad as well. But Adelaide Olympic, as you did touch on, is one that we probably thought they were going to struggle a lot this season, but they managed to get the win against Raiders, who have come out of the ranks firing in the first 2 rounds as well.
Yeah, they surprise package straight off the bat. They were really exciting, and Olympic have knuckled down really well and managed to get that 1-0 win. So huge for them, but it really shows that Croydon got their result the other week, that win as well. So that puts them to 3 points. So quite amazing and quite close league already.
Another big win as well. It's not surprising considering what we were expecting from this team going into the season, but it's been almost 3 years since they've won against Metro Stars, and that is Campbelltown City. They managed to get the win 2-0 over Metro Stars. A big win for Matriciani and his side on the weekend. And what do you make of the performance there from the side, especially with Nicholas Graves getting his debut goal as well, which he was denied of in round 1 after being given an own goal?
Yeah, he got chalked off for him, unfortunately, but didn't take him too long to get his opening goal. But look, what a result for Campbelltown. Like, I looked at their form guide, and they against Metro, and it's been 8-9 games or something ridiculous. They hadn't beaten Metro, so for them to come out, get that result, and we all know everyone's picked them two to be the top in that top 3 anyway. So it was expected to be a close game. I think the sending off had a bit of a factor towards that last half an hour, but even still, great result for Campbelltown.
And we'll quickly touch on Modbury Jets as well. They got the win over Croydon. They just don't give up, Croydon, do they? The way they just keep going towards the end. They've struggled though in those first few rounds.
Yeah, they got their result early with Campbelltown, but we all know it's not going to be an easy season for them. But look, they're there or thereabouts. They're not getting hammered. They've lost by the odd goal, so it's actually not that. It's not a bad position for them to be in. At least they're creating chances and they are scoring those goals. They've just got to tighten up at the back.
They certainly do. Well, we look forward to seeing what they can do with Dodd. We know how much I've been backing them to be top 2, only because I'll need to get my integrity back after saying they're going to finish second. But I think they can still do very well this season if they can get everything back in line with the players returning. That's
the thing you just mentioned there. They're still waiting on players to come back from injury, so that could certainly help them at the back end of the season.
Definitely will. Well, we've got more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. This is The Local Game. Welcome back to The Local Game. We have to talk about some state league now. There's been some great fixtures. There's still some fixtures to be played with the heat or disrupting the leagues on the weekend. But the ones that did go ahead, Mark, there's been some great results overall in the state leagues, especially with the battle of the snakes. There's a little bit of a slimy situation going on there, slithering results. But what a great performance overall, a 3-2 win. What do you make of that overall performance from the two sides?
Yeah, look, we all picked Cobra. Well, I picked Cobras to win that game. So you'd expect with their lineup, and we all know Vipers. Well, I certainly look at it. They're going to struggle this year. So kind of a result that was expected. But Cobras haven't had the best of starts. But they certainly got the better of their snake counterparts this weekend and got the result. But maybe that will be the kickstart for Cobras that they need for their season now.
And Michael Brooks, who we mentioned earlier about the Red Army celebration on the weekend, his side got their first win of the year. How good is that for him to build on his coaching pedigree at the club now?
Yeah, look, great result for them. A 2-0 win over Western Strikers. It did give them their first win of the season. The good thing, even though it's their first win, they haven't lost either. So it's always been, they've drawn the first 2. So to get that 3 points, I think, again, it will probably kickstart their season now and really they'll push on from there. And Brooksy will take what he needs from that result and build on that with that team. But I'm looking forward now to seeing how they progress.
And Salisbury United haven't been able to get that second win of the season just yet. A loss again for them?
Yeah, a loss to Berks in this case. So they've started well, win, loss and a draw. But unfortunately for them, Calvin Mbaga, the player that just never seems to quit, did a great job, scored 2 goals for Berks. So good result for them. And
everyone's been keeping an eye, as we spoke to Dan Godley last week, with Fulham United's performances getting into this league. Their game's been delayed a little bit further, so we have to wait a little bit longer for them. But I'm looking forward to seeing how Fulham go in that round 3 fixture.
Yeah, look, Fulham, we're expecting them to do well. They've picked up some great players, a really good coach, great goalkeeper, so we're expecting them to do well. So the pressure's on them, unfortunately.
Absolutely, and we talked about the slithering snake derby there in State League 1, but let's go to the Skies because there was an Eagles derby as well in State League 2. Gawler Eagles and Pontian Eagles, a massive result there, a 5-2 win for Gawler. A surprising win for them as well, from your part especially.
Yeah, look, we all, I spoke with a few people, and if anyone knows me, obviously I also jump into a podcast. We all picked Pontians to win that based purely on form. Gawler hadn't performed that well, but on a big pitch at Gawler's ground, Pontians just couldn't survive, and one Eagle soared higher than the other.
Absolutely did.
I've been hanging around with you too long.
Yeah, I know you have. You took that right out of my mouth, mate. Now I'm stumped. I don't know what to say next. But let's go from the Skies to the south, a bit further away as well. The Southern Derby, another derby in State League 2. You were at that game. What do you make of the performance between Noarlunga and Seaford? A 2-2 draw in the end.
Yeah, 2-2 draw. I think Seaford were probably lucky to get away with the point in the end. Noarlunga outplayed them for most of the game, and it came down to a very, very late equaliser for Seaford. So it was good. It's good to get down there, back out to games. I managed to duck across there, and Noarlunga are going to do a lot better. Surprising teams, they're doing a lot better than what I think a lot of people thought they would at the start. But yeah, like I said, Seaford were lucky to come away with the result, and they're picking up a new player shortly. Actually, he gets into Adelaide next week. Actually, might be later this week on the 15th. So he will hopefully help strengthen that Seaford side.
Well, hopefully, and they've still got 3 more games to play because half the league got pushed around and couldn't play on the weekend due to heat. Yep. And one of those games is still undecided when that's going to be with Port Adelaide and Northern Demons. So all to come soon as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing more fixtures. It throws off the ladder a little bit, and I hate that, but hopefully we can get them back underway and no more heat.
Yeah, we'll probably look at, I dare say most of them probably played at the cup rounds if those teams are already knocked out.
Yep, absolutely. And you did mention that podcast. Well, One Game at a Time is the one with Seb O'Neill and the other commentators on there. A great podcast, so make sure you have a listen to that for some extended talk. Yes. But let's have some extended talk with our players as well. Kicking it with the players, let's hear from some of your favourites in the local leagues.
I was at Para Hills since I was 4 years old. I grew up in the juniors and then got picked up, started training first when I was 14. And ever since then I was training and made my debut last year.
Juniors, I played at Adelaide Cobras. I was in a boys team up until the age of 11, and then we finally made a girls team And yeah, that's pretty much. And after that, it was like state team and all that.
As a junior, I think winning the cup final, I think it was under 9s. I think that was awesome. I scored a goal with my left foot. I'll always remember that.
Probably just playing, like having that sense of community at Cobras. It was like a family. So playing with like people that you were cousins with, family with, and just enjoying football so much as a kid. You have no worries. You're not playing for any like titles or anything. You're just playing for the love of the sport. So that was quite memorable as a kid as well. When I was in the States, it was probably like Emily Condon, Alex Chidiak, like those girls. So they were like the standouts of that age group sort of thing.
It's always great to catch up with our players and kicking it with the players. Well, now we're going to head to my chat with Nicole Blackett, who I caught up with earlier in the week. I'm here with Nicole Blackett in the studios of where you record Kick Like a Girl, your podcast. Thank you for having me here.
No worries. Thanks for coming here.
It's I'm assuming you're a Man City supporter.
If you couldn't tell from the 10 strips on the wall, yeah, definitely.
All your collection or a mixture of?
Yep, all mine. So I got over the past probably 10 years, maybe a bit more, and just recently I thought I'd whack them up on the wall.
Nice.
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty good collection. Looks pretty nice way you've decorated the wall as well behind us. Nice backdrop. But we'll just talk about your returning back to West Adelaide this season, but a short stint in Melbourne last year. What was that like at Heidelberg United?
Yeah, it was definitely a interesting sort of year. Very different. I think just mainly not knowing who you're playing against. Normally, like playing in a league here for so long, you kind of get to know the teams back to front, and probably playing over there, found myself thinking like, I don't even know who I'm playing against or sort of thing. But in general, with the quality, I guess it's not too far off from SA. It's I found it's a bit quicker. Like girls are quicker and stronger. But yeah, a lot more A-League girls as well. So they definitely bump it up in like that second half of the year.
Did you find the standard a little bit better, more competitive over there?
A little bit more competitive, yeah. As I said, with the A-League girls that come in, there's probably 3 times as many as what we have in SA. So when they come in, it's like a different league. So yeah, it gets pretty intense.
Well, you're back here now in Adelaide. How excited are you to be joining the squad back at West Adelaide? Was like the band's come back together?
Yeah. So, very exciting. Did come back. I kind of thought, can't really see myself playing anywhere else once I've been there that long. It'll be my 8th year. And having Costa and some new staff come on board is really exciting. And kind of like nothing's changed. So they're hoping to, we're hoping to have a better year this year and start getting back where we belong.
You had a good run in the cup, preseason cup. You made it to the final. Unfortunately, lost to Comets.
Yeah.
How did you find the performance in that final against the Comets?
Yeah, look, not great from us. I think we know, and our standards are a lot higher than what we showed. Good thing is, doesn't really count for anything. There's no points involved. Exactly. So if we were to play that round 1 and it was 4-0, I'd probably be in a different sort of mood at the moment. But it's good. It's good for us. We have a lot to take away, and good to see the competition. They played really well, and they just outplayed us. So. Well,
you didn't get to play against them last year. They were a very strong side. Didn't make it to the final, unfortunately, but they won the cups as well. How do you find playing them this year with a strengthened side as well this year for them?
Yeah, they're definitely investing and trying to get girls over, which they have and they've built. And over the past few years since they've come into the competition, they've really started to step it up. And I think it kind of reminds me of when Westies were in that building stage and being in the top 4, getting into finals, and then just coming short. So I think that time will be here soon. But definitely other teams that can dull that light a little bit as well.
Well, round 1 is this weekend, so how excited are you to see football back here and for yourself getting back with West Adelaide? Because when you did leave, you left on a successful year at West Adelaide. How excited are you to try and replicate something like that this year? Yeah,
super exciting. Round 1 seems like a fair way away when you start, in November or whenever we started, and pre-season cup's good and all fun and games. But yeah, it's great that it's finally playing for points and we can, just playing other teams as well, which is super exciting.
Who do you reckon the outlier is going to be this year? Anyone in particular that you think that's going to stand out and be one of the forces to be reckoned with?
I think Sturt coming up.
Yeah.
They probably shouldn't be underestimated at all. I didn't play that game against them in the pre-season cup, but it was 1-1 draw. Yeah, so to come up and get a sort of result, even if it's pre-season, just shows that they've maybe invested as well a little bit and built their squad so they, can compete at a level. NTC as well, they were where you got the win over them in our first game in the pre-season cup, but they were very well drilled as per usual, and they just play a technical, sort of hard to play against sort of football, so probably NTC as well.
You were in a different state last year when Flinders made their way into the WNPL and did had an incredible season to stay up. What do you think of them going into this year with hopefully Cotier coming back this year? So what are you expecting from them?
Yeah, Flinders, they were also in our group, so I got to play against them for the first time, for me anyway. And yeah, they had patches of, competitive, definitely up to our level. I think physically they'll be fine. But yeah, whether or not they can, try and push for maybe top 4 or mid we just have to wait and see. It definitely can depend on someone like Cote. She's definitely a help. But yeah, after having a year under the belt for them, that would definitely help, and they're probably not as nervous. But also being the underdog or that sort of thing can be a good thing sometimes.
Exactly. And, it's exciting. Last year we had the Women's World Cup. We met last year in Melbourne for a quick interview there while that was all happening.
Yeah.
The buzz now for the Matildas coming to Adelaide. We've got hopefully Charlie Grant can be playing here in front of some of her former teammates and family and friends. Did you manage to get a ticket for the game?
Yes, I did manage. Yeah. Luckily, saw a few people.
Stressful, wasn't it?
Yes, I saw a few people missed out a lot. So yeah, hopefully those listening or watching managed to snag a ticket. But yeah, awesome. Like for me as a player, I never had anything to go to as a little girl, or even when I was playing in my teens, sort of thing. So yeah, for girls to be able to come and see girls like Charlie that they might have watched it, at the parks or whatever it might have been for NTC back in, I think 2018 was her last year here before she kind of got swept away into the being a Matilda, which is awesome. So it's so good. Hopefully she gets some time.
Absolutely. We'll look forward to seeing it. It was stressful to get the tickets.
Yes.
So now we can relax.
Are you going?
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah.
I didn't manage to get it myself, but luckily someone else. Because mine timed out so many times and links didn't get sent to me. So
yeah, that's true. What happened with that?
I don't know. But
I was kind of hoping that there'd be some sort of preference. I heard like the Crows.
Yeah,
Crows got emailed and footy members, but not FFSA. So
who knows? I don't know what happened with the system now. I've been signed up for 10 years. So
okay.
But who knows? But got my tickets in the end, which is good. 30,000 sold in pre-sale. So that's a massive amount.
I think it was sold out within 10 or so minutes. I say an hour, but it definitely wasn't that.
No, it wasn't.
Much available.
Down to single seats within 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Easily.
Wild.
Well, anyway, we're going to be there. So that's all that matters. And hopefully everyone watching is attending as well, because it's a big year for football and a big round 1 for WNPL. Good luck this weekend. Hopefully you can get the win to kick things off.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Great catching up with Nicole Blackett there. Well, we've got more to go through in our show, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this break. Welcome back to the local game. We're about to wrap things up here on this show for episode 4. It's been a great month having you on the show, but we've still got more to talk about. Mark, you're still here. great catching up with Nicole Blackett earlier in the week. She's a great player. I'm looking forward to what she does this season back at West Adelaide.
It's going to be super exciting for West Adelaide. They've got Quigley back as well, so I think they, with them back, might take them to another level this year.
Absolutely, it will. Excited to see what they can do. They made it to the final of the preseason cup, and they just want to try and make it a little bit exciting this year for them and get one further. Get some silverware back at the club. The gang's back together is how some are saying it at West Adelaide. So let's go quickly to the first round of the WNPL. Kicks off this weekend. Let's have a look at some of the key standouts of that fixturing as well. Grand final repeats, Salisbury Inter, and NTC kicking it all off as well.
Yeah, look, that's going to be a really enticing fixture to go watch. My biggest question on that is what happens with the NTC? Are they in a loop like the men's side where every couple of years they have to release players? So it'd be interesting to see how they go this year.
And another one is Flinders West Adelaide. That looks to be a very good fixture as well, a Service FM. But the other one that stands out as well, Sturt playing their first WNPL fixture against Comets, who just come off the back of a preseason cup win.
Yeah, look, it's going to be an enticing game again. I think Frank Tabaldi's out there at Sturt, so it'd be a great opportunity for him. And Dan Milanovic, he's out at South. Moved from South, won his first trophy with Comets last week. So a very enticing game to see two good coaches.
It is very enticing. So make sure you head out to the WNPL this weekend. You catch all the action of the Go Sunny Solar WNPL on the FSA League's YouTube page as well. That's where all the coverage is of those games. This weekend there is no coverage of the Australia Cup qualifications. But you can head out to those games as well. It's across the weekend. A lot of big fixtures. What one stands out most to you?
There's two for me. Elizabeth Downs for the amateurs playing against Gawler Eagles. I'm expecting a win there for Elizabeth Downs. I think they're going to do great things again this year. And the other one for me is probably the Salisbury versus Metro game at Salisbury's ground. I think that'll be just a great aspect from a tactical point of view for between the two coaches.
It's great to see these grassroots clubs playing some higher up clubs in our league. Now the NPL's teams are into it as well, so it just makes it a little bit more enticing for some cup sets on the cards as well. Any big cup set you're expecting?
No, unfortunately not, but I do like a cup set, but I don't see too many happening. But Downs against Gawler is probably, technically it's an upset, so
yep.
I'll be going with Downs.
Well, let's see how that all pans out on the weekend. So head out to as many games as you can. Get around the Federation Cup and also the WNPL as well. This weekend, a lot happening. But also, Mark, we'll go into a big topic as well is midweek games. There's not many scheduled for the year. There's only, I think, 2 occasions that we're going to see a Thursday night match in the men's league in the NPL, the RA NPL SA. So that is the Anzac Day clash, and 2 on the Thursday night before Good Friday, the Easter long weekend. So that's the only time. We had one on the weekend, the week that just passed, rescheduled due to the heat on the weekend. But we saw how much people enjoyed watching it on TV, on the YouTube especially. Over 1,000 views at one stage, all tuning in, and not a bad turnout at the crowd as well. Do you think it's something we need to see more in the fixturing?
Look, I'd love to see midweek fixtures. I'd love to see 2 games a week, but we just don't have the teams. But it's also a strain on the clubs from a volunteer point of view, trying to get the volunteers out there every Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Saturdays as well. So I personally would love to see it. It means more games, but I don't see it happening. Just purely the strain on clubs is just too big, too great.
Absolutely, yeah. You do make a good point there because they all have day jobs as well. I know of some people, volunteers, who've had to take days off of work just to manage the club throughout the day on a game day that's big like that.
Exactly, and it really puts a strain on the club. I mean, when I'm going back a few years now, State League 1 or 2, whatever it was, we had 32 games or 30 games in the season. So that even then, that was a strain on the clubs because it's an extra 8 games on top of what we're doing now. So it was hard for the clubs. It is.
But what do you make of the Friday night fixtures? We're seeing a lot of them now. We had 5 on Friday night, but that was obviously only meant to be 4. But this restructure of the round due to heat. What do you think of having multiple Friday night fixtures? Is that good for the league to have more Fridays, or do you reckon it needs to be spread out so people can attend more?
Oh, look, from my point of view, I love it when it's spread out because it means I can actually watch more of them. But look, Friday night, Thursday night, Monday night games, I have no issues with.
Yep.
As long as there is at least one game on a Saturday and
Yep.
a Saturday night. Like I said, for me, spaced out better means I can watch more games. But I completely understand why you'd have a Friday night. I mean, Friday nights at Big Red, Friday nights down at South, always pull big crowds.
It's going to be good to see all these Friday nights. Hopefully people can get out to them. I know a lot of people went out to Olympic last week because of the Saturday night fixture standalone.
Yep.
So it is good to have those standalones, but I think more clubs getting around Friday nights is probably better for the club to get that, even the junior base come out as well.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of the juniors train on a Friday night. I know Souths do. So they pull a massive crowd. They do all their mascots. So, and I know Comets are aiming when they start their playing at their home ground. They're looking for Friday night games because, again, all their juniors are there Friday nights to try and capture people coming from the city.
Yep.
So it's a big night for them as well.
It will be. Well, all we're asking for is more football because we love it. We get selfish football fans, don't we, here in South Australia? Well, it's great. The volunteers do a great job to put on what they do.
They're fantastic, and every club needs them. Every club has them, and every club wouldn't survive without them. So, like I said, as much as I'd love midweek games, you've got to also be conscious of your volunteers.
Definitely do. And we are also conscious of someone who does a lot for us every week. And this is the best segment as well. It's one of my favourites. It is Press for Time with Antonis Pagonis from Front Page Football to give a highlight on some of the things we missed out on.
Let's talk our national teams, Johnny. Specifically, let's start with the Matildas. South Australia pays back the faith Football Australia has put into Adelaide, selling out Adelaide Oval within hours, 50,000 seats. Meanwhile, the Olyroos have selected a massive 7 young players who will play the junior football in South Australia for the next Olyroos squad.
Well, thanks, Antonis, for those headlines. You do a great job. And if you want to catch his articles as well, winners and losers from each round, you can catch it on the Front Page Football site and also on FSA as well. So great to have you, Mark, once again.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure having you in the studio, and any extra time I get to spend with you each week is always a pleasure. Well, that is all here on The Local Game. Thank you for joining us once again. But before we do go, thank you for watching us every week as well. And I've had a bit of support from my nephew. 9-year-old nephew watches every single week. He went to camp on Tuesday, and he said, do you know what the good thing is? I get back on Wednesday so I can watch the show. He doesn't know anything about The Local Game, but he's learning, which is a good thing. And that's it makes me happy seeing him watch.
Oh, well, that's it. We're trying to reach the community. Your nephew watches, my nephew watches.
Oh, really?
He plays at Croydon, so he watches the show as well. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, a big shout out to our nephews watching each week. Thank you for supporting us, and thank you for supporting The Local Game wherever you're supporting across South Australia. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you all next week.